lovely people. Welcome to the Peace Thoughts and People podcast. I'm Nancy.
I'm Priyasha.
And this is episode 1 of Immigrant Culture. And I have my famous homemade chai. So good. Cheers.
Okay, so to begin, we're going to define immigrant culture.
As we're going to define our concepts in every video. So.
Yes. So we have like our own little definition that we have made. So immigrant culture refers to the unique set of beliefs, values, traditions, languages, foods, and arts that individuals and communities bring along when they migrate to a new country. And this is it's a really important topic that I think is so important to discuss, which is why we'll be going into it in today's episode. And so we're really going to break down like things really related to how we assimilate, how we're diverse, different aspects of our culture moving into a new country.
Like how we see people, how we see like others, like depending on culture, like ethnocentrism, we'll define that later, but like it's a really like important topic just because like, you know, like immigrants contribute so much to our culture, like in general today. And literally like our country is built off the backs of immigrants. And I can say that like for a lot of countries actually, maybe not all, but yeah. A good amount. So yeah.
And so to kind of structure our episode, we're going to basically start off by kind of talking about our personal experiences. We're both like second generation immigrants.
Our parents are both immigrants from India.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that, talk a bit about different things that we experience, kind of maybe you will relate to them as well if you experience those things as well. Then we're going to talk a bit about the people. And so that really includes perspectives. So we're going to look at both sides. We're going to look at people that are kind of anti-immigrant. And then we're also going to look at a really cool author that wrote a really cool book that a lot of people...
Joy Love Club.
Yes, in our school probably know about.
Such a good book.
So we're going to talk about that a little bit, kind of how it relates to us. And then we're going to reflect and really bring it into the context of why is this important to talk about?
Yeah.
Kind of like the importance.
Yeah.
Let's discuss.
Thanks for summing it up. So yeah. Ooh, first question. I love this. Okay, wait. So this like these questions relate to who we are as people and kind of just like the cultural background we come from. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about like where my parents came from. They came from the state of Tamil Nadu in India, pronounced Tamil Nadu. Yeah. I think you get it.
Yeah,
but yeah, and she's also Indian, but also from.
My mom is from Hyderabad, which is technically in the south of India. But like in terms of origin, she's North Indian, and then my dad is also from a state in North India.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So I feel like it's really cool though that like she has like South Indian and like those like the culture and like I get to learn about it a lot more.
Yeah, and I get to learn about her culture too, which is like so cool. So yeah,
taught her a bit of Hindi, which was cool.
Yeah,
she's got to teach me Tamil.
Yeah, no, you know a little bit Tamil.
I may have forgotten.
Wait, I'm not gonna try speaking Hindi.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak in Tamil either.
I don't want to hear that, but
I'm gonna butcher it.
Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gone did teach me a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I love that movie. I love it.
It's so good. Okay.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, we are back to the talk. But anyways, as a child of an immigrant, what do you think are some unique experiences you've had growing up with immigrant parents?
Okay. So...
Sigh.
I mean, okay. The thing is, one thing to kind of like bring into light is just the fact that we're growing up. Like we've grown up. Well, we're growing up in a society where there are a lot of Indian people.
Yeah, no,
this is basically like a little India. Like
we've grown up in
like little Italy, or
to talk. What state we're from?
We're from New Jersey, guys. That's okay. I'm not gonna specify where.
We're from New Jersey. We're not gonna talk too much about.
Should we say the region? Because I feel like the region is known. Okay, it's the region that's known for Indian. It's okay, guys. It's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna cut this out. I'm so sorry. But anyways, yeah, we're like from a very
Indian populated
like community. Like a lot of us in this township are Indian. Like especially in this part of Jersey, you know. Yeah. And it's been like a really great privilege, just like growing up around so many Indian people. You didn't answer the question.
Right. Right. Yes. I'm gonna go back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back.
We're gonna go back.
So the reason why I brought up the fact that we live in this Indian kind of area is because I haven't had too many experiences where like I personally have like kind of like where my Indian culture has been kind of foreign to me while I'm interacting with other people.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, for one thing, I think a lot of times I say certain words that I feel like a lot of like people in India would say. But
yeah.
like, for example, like, this is a hair tie. Okay, this is a hair tie. We all know this is a hair tie.
Yes. Oh wait, this is actually from India though. Like, oh my god.
That's cute.
Sorry,
It's cute.
It's cute.
I've grown up calling this a rubber band.
No, same.
I don't know if is that an Indian thing? I don't know what it is.
I think it might just be an Indian thing. I just don't know. My parents call this a rubber band too.
Yeah.
So.
But like it's a hair tie.
Yeah.
So like I remember once I said like, oh, I need a rubber band, and then someone was like, I don't have a rubber band, and like I was talking about this.
Yeah, she was talking about hair tie, but like rubber band. My parents call it that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Another thing would be like if we're turning on a light, someone might say on the light.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like again, is that like an Indian thing or
maybe it's just.
Maybe it's like a mix of like.
Maybe it's just.
But again, like a lot of these
maybe
things,
it's just like a cultural thing. Just like how you say it in India. Because I know like in India too, like where I'm from, like a lot of people use like English, like double English.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a word for that for like Hindi as well. But English. English. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so like going back to that, I think sometimes I say those things, and like those are things that I've grown up hearing. So I tend to say them outside the house, and then. You know, that's just, it's different.
It's kind of just like rubbed off on you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things that, that's the perfect way to describe it. A lot of things kind of just like rub off.
Okay, wait. One thing like that I would say was like a unique experience with my immigrant parents is the fact that, wait, I'm not going to go too much into this, but okay, wait. So I feel like every immigrant person, or like maybe just like if you've had like, I don't know, like parents will like tell you the story or like tell you to work hard. Like my parents used to talk about how it was back in their day. Like back in my day, kids. It was so tough. It was so hard. Yeah. We all heard like this like one version of like, oh, I had to walk 5 miles to school. Like you have it so easy. Like you're so lucky. Like not in the sense like that. I think like, oh, like you have it easy because you don't work hard. But in the sense like, you have a lot more opportunities than I had growing up.
Yeah.
Like my mom would tell me like, oh, like I had to do all these chores, I had to wake up early. Like we had to like work and make sure like, and like do these chores around the house, like work around the house. So yeah. And my parents would just like have a lot of responsibilities growing up and then like remind me that, you know, you should always stay grateful. You should always like make,
definitely,
you know, like do the best like with what you have, and like it's kind of like just something that rubbed off on me, and it's like inspired me to like work harder. And it's like I feel like it is a very like I feel like there is a very like hustle mentality in immigrant communities, especially when you've had to like, you know, make it and like, you know, build your entire life up in a different country. You've been like where you didn't really have a support group or like community, because like
like that's a great way to sum that up, like for sure. I remember like something my dad told me, and basically I was like complaining about like schoolwork and stuff and how like, oh my gosh, it's so much, I'm so tired, like I don't want to do this anymore. And he told me that like if I was living in India, like all those people would just like eat me up because like it's so competitive, and I think a lot of that is because education, like people say that it's a key to opportunity and it opens up so much.
It really is, but
so like just to have opportunity, like I feel like a lot of people from immigrant countries, countries with immigrant people that leave the country. Yes, we get it. I feel like a lot of those countries, they have very competitive people.
Or like people like that are like determined to make it, because like you don't get on a boat, you don't get on a plane, you don't get on like whatever other mode of transportation you use. To just like be like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna slack off. But like you're kind of like determined. You're so determined. Like that kind of drive. I don't have that drive because maybe I would say I do, because like I feel like my parents like they like really raised me that way. Like if I ever like got out of bed in the morning, and sometimes this still happens, like I'll get out of bed and I'll be like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to go to school today. And they'll be like, no, well, actually, no, because back in my day, like, you really want to become a doctor? Like,
Right.
go work hard.
I think that's
And
another thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, continue, yeah.
Wait, what was I saying? A lot of what people don't realize, because people are like, oh yeah, no, immigrants are coming to take our jobs, like destroying our economies. Like we have like other comments about that.
Yeah, we have some.
Like later in our video.
Yeah.
But and, like people are like, oh yeah, no, like immigrants are like destroying our like communities.
Yeah.
And they're like changing everything too much.
Definitely
Like
the
really?
social aspect.
But I feel like in the sense like when you say like, oh yeah, like immigrants are coming to take your job, like people say that as if like, okay, like someone didn't work hard for that. Like someone didn't put in the effort. Or like someone's not capable of doing that just because they look different than you, just because they have a different skin color. And I know like that's bordering like racism, and I'm not going to go too much into that today because we're talking about immigrant culture. But in terms of immigrant culture, just like this hustle mentality, I feel like it's just like really like, it's like what drives people like to get these opportunities of like having a better life.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people just like really don't understand how much effort it takes to like pursue that, because like it's so incredibly powerful. Just like I'm like getting a little emotional, but like in the sense that like it just takes so much to like pack up and leave, and like leave your family, leave your country, and just like, you know, like go abroad and just like, you know, kind of just like trust that like, okay, like you're gonna reach for the stars and like, you know, hopefully like grab one of them, like chase after your dreams, like chase after like what it is you really want from life. So like yeah, I really like admire that, and I admire that my mom did that, and I admire like she was able to do that and provide for me in general, and just like able to like, you know, provide me with the life I have today. Because it also teaches me like working really hard, because like okay, like my parents have both had to do that.
Yeah.
Because like they had to like move over here and like build their lives. So yeah, it's like one thing I've just like taken away from like all of that.
That's really nice. That is, it's a very wonderful story of your parents and how they've influenced you. I think that's so beautiful. I think.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure, like, I don't know, maybe you guys can relate to that if you have immigrant parents.
Or just parents in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've heard from like a lot of Indian kids in general, and like this might even like apply to like even if you're not Indian, like okay, like I feel like our parents are so incredibly hard on us. I wouldn't say my parents like strict with me, because at this point like they know I'm stubborn, like they know I'm maybe stubborn, but like in the sense like okay, sometimes like our parents are like they always push us because they think like they expect us to like do better, like be better than them, when really we're just like people trying to figure it out themselves. But like yeah.
There is, I think, like, we do get a lot of our drive from our parents. I think they can motivate us, and sometimes they can put pressure on us, and that pushes us to do a lot. And, like, in your stories, like, you discussed a lot about how your parents, like, have influenced you in your drive to work hard and do things and grab those opportunities. And I think that's something that's really amazing. And, like you said... And like you said, like, it's not just, of course, Indian parents. Like, I really want to, you know, specify this specifically. Like, what we're talking about doesn't just, like, it's not just about Indian people. Like, you know, we want you guys to also think about your cultures.
Just, like, in general.
It's just, like,
it applies to really everybody.
Yeah. So, you know, like, it's so cool how your parents, they do kind of push you and, like, they do motivate you. And you do get a lot from them, I think, like as a boosting force. And then if we look on like the other side of that, I've also heard a lot about tiger parents.
Tiger. We also have discussing here.
Yes, we can talk about that in the book.
But yeah, we talk about that in the book. Yeah, it's a great book, guys. Again,
read it if you haven't.
Can
it's so good.
Okay, am I allowed to give shout outs on this channel?
I guess. Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
To our English teacher. Our English teachers around the world, we love you.
Yes. Thank you for introducing us to amazing books. This one was the best book that I've read, honestly.
Actually, the best book I read that year. Like,
yeah, this was my favorite book. So good. And I think one of the reasons why so many people liked it, because it wasn't just us. I know, like, I was talking to a bunch of people on, like, their favorite books from that year of English, and a lot of them said Joy Luck Club. Yeah. And again, we're going to talk about this a little later, more into depth, like the content, how we relate to it. But I think it's just the fact that we relate to these like immigrant experiences. So
I think everyone has their own take on it because like you bring like your own mentality to it, your own like experiences.
Right. So like you know, like
yeah.
So
just like we're gonna move on to a different question.
Yes.
Because I think we want this. It's like you know. But we still love you. We want you to have a great time. We hope you have a great time like listening to us yap and
just discuss these wonderful things.
Yes. Okay, so now we're gonna be focusing on the more research part of our podcast.
Perspectives.
Yes, the data behind the debate. So one term that I wanted to talk about right now is the term melting pot. And a lot of us know it to be like a term that like, emphasizes the diversity of our country, like how like important like immigrants to our society, and like how like we're this like big entire like mosaic or salad bowl. But
we're not a salad bowl because they say melting pot. But we are actually a salad bowl.
Yes, we are actually a salad bowl.
We're not melting pot.
Stay with me. I know you're confused right now. So, the term melting pot was actually coined as an idea or an expectation. It means like, okay, like it's like speaks about the expectations like regarding immigrants in general, or like terms about like assimilation. According to the definition given in Israel Zangwill's 1908 play called The Melting Pot, that's where it came from. I just found that out. The term signified America as a crucible where old world hatreds and ethnic rivalries.
I think.
Rivalry.
Oh God.
Would burn away, forging a unified American identity. So like, okay, like to break down the yap and the jargon of what I'm saying. Big words, they're big words. But like, so basically, like the term melting pot was originally coined as like this like, societal expectation. Like people would come in with their culture, identity, and values, but they would kind of just be like stripped away and like become more like everyone else, if that makes sense. Like you would ditch your old identity and just like, kind of just like blend in with other people, which is why a more modern term that we use today is the term mosaic or salad bowl that we just used earlier. And like this ideology isn't about like, individualism, but more like a shared cohesive identity. And that's kind of like why we talked about like the entire like concept of like being like quote unquote American. So and also another thing I wanted to talk about is like basically how like immigration ties into this, because we all know that there have been like policies on immigration, like or immigration like quotas in general, but like how willing are we to like experience new things, accept new concepts, or just like try to see life from a different view, and like why, like one question, why do we expect people to become more like us all the time instead of respecting who they are as an individual? Okay, so the one act that I wanted to talk about was the 1924 Immigration Act, which prohibited people of Asian and Southern Eastern Europeans to preserve a sense of Western nationalism. And they just wanted to exclude anyone who had different values that were too different, or like a face that was like too different from theirs, which literally kind of like just like ties into nationalism and just like ties into like this entire like, okay, like with this term ethnocentrism, and where you use your own culture as like a yardstick to measure someone else's culture, where you're like, oh well, this is what's normal for me, so because you don't fit into my culture, my standards, or like my belief system, you're weird. Well, not you guys aren't weird, we love you. But in the sense, like the term itself states that like it's like a mentality where you're like, okay, well, if someone's different from me, they're the weird one, it's not me. Like,
and I guess like if you have an ideology that's very different, or you believe in certain things that maybe don't align with like a dominant culture, and that dominant, like the people of that dominant culture, using their beliefs and their belief system, what they think, that their ideologies, they kind of use that to, I guess, evaluate your culture and your beliefs. Not you specifically, but the immigrant.
Just like,
in
general.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk, okay, so I'm gonna like segue this into like talking about like critics of immigration.
So we've got some anti-immigrant people.
Yes, so we're gonna be going to Reddit,
our source.
the craziest part of the internet. Yeah. Okay, wait, so we're gonna be looking at posts. Wait, do you want to just like read them out, or
Yeah, we can just read them out.
okay.
Wait, should I say like who wrote them, or should I just say like
would it be weird if we did funny voices for them, or that'd be like
You can do the funny voices because you're really good at it.
So if this was you, we're sorry. Okay, so I don't care about race. I don't care about ideology. In the last years, oh, actually, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, just
Okay, so this guy on the internet said, this guy or girl, I have no clue. I'm not gonna say their username, but yeah, said, I don't care about race. I care about ideology. In the last years came a lot of migrants with a medieval mindset to my country. Dot. I don't like this.
he does not like it.
I bet you don't. No, okay. Okay, yeah.
I don't really know what he means by medieval mindset. Like, I searched it up because I wanted to kind of like get an understanding of what he meant, and like
he or she,
we have no clue what they meant. I was assuming it meant like an old, not like a traditional
I think
mindset.
It's medieval in the sense like, okay, just kind of like old-timey.
But I also searched it up, and it said that like it was something about like your mindset. It was really aligned with like God. So I don't know if they mean that.
I think like in the medieval period, like it was like more like religious, I guess, but like I just need to like need the context behind like, okay, this person's life and their like viewpoints, because like I know like not everyone agrees with your viewpoints. Like that's okay. That's okay. We're allowed to be different.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, wait, I'm gonna read another one where it says pretty much this, in regard to another comment about like anti-immigration. Specifically, those who have the audacity to think their own ideology or religion surpasses the laws of the land here, who deliberately avoid natives and refuse to integrate. Like, main thing, refuse to integrate because we are infidels for whatever reason. If they have a mindset like yours, there's no issue.
That's
did we ever say there was an issue? Oh, but yeah, no.
A lot of that goes back to the idea of like assimilation.
Yeah, well, there's like the fact that like, okay, like that's very much an expectation. Like, okay, like where you're expected to like not carry any of your own ideas. Like, oh yeah, no, like you can immigrate to the United States, but you can't have any of your own values. No, we don't like that here. Apparently, because yeah, no, and refuse like the entire thing where they said like refuse to integrate.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of, like, you don't automatically become like anyone else. You don't automatically, like, you know, like, adapt yourself or, like, change yourself or, like, erase yourself. And I feel like people too often, like, pass judgment on, like, you know, people of culture, like, just, like, POCs in general. Or, like, immigrants. Especially immigrants, like, who, like, just come here. And I want to, like, talk about it. Because I feel like there's, like, one instance, like, okay, it's, like, I don't know if it was, like, okay, because, like, you know, with, like, the entire, like, I feel like a general experience for, like, all, like, just like POCs in general, like, you have your, like, cultural food. Like, this one time, I came to school, and I ate, like, I brought Italy to school, and, like, someone looked at, like, someone looked at, like, what I was eating, like, I was eating my Italy, and for anyone who doesn't know what Italy is from South India, it's, like, seriously good. I have, like, a picture of it here. So, it's basically this, like, rice cake that's, like, steamed and, like, circular, and, like, you eat it with, like, things like curries, and it's really good. I like it. It's very good. So I brought it to school, I was eating, like, brown sugar, and I love it with sugar, it's so good. It is good. And it's underrated. Yeah. Okay, and, like, literally, I think, like, one girl in elementary school, she came up to me and she said, ew, what is that? And I was, like, so scared. She was talking about my food, because, like, I did not know what to say, like, I was, like, really scared, because, like, you know, like, oh, yeah, no, like, I thought it was normal, but, like, someone else is judging me for it. Like, yeah.
It probably feels really, like weird, especially as a young child. I think that's another issue that a lot of, I feel like children of immigrants especially have, or even, like, immigrants that are children, because when you grow up as, like, being a child, you're really influenced by your friends, by your peers, and your, like, the people around you. And when you're, like, judged from a young age, I feel like that probably impacts you as you grow up. You know, like, I feel like you take those criticisms and maybe you even, like, try to steer away from your own culture because maybe it makes you really different from your society, like, the society that you're growing up with in. And especially from people of your own age. Like, when you have older people, like, telling you, like, certain things, you may not listen
it might
much.
not, like, hit as hard, but, like...
But when it's someone your own age, you probably feel a lot more inclined to change and,
or, like, you might feel, like, a lot more, like, judged by, like, peers, like, people who are supposed to be your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, like, going back to the story, she wasn't actually talking about my Italy. She was not talking about the food I was eating. She was talking about the brown sugar
Oh,
which yeah, no, like yeah, like I was just so scared that she was like making fun of my food
the
because
fact that you were scared says a lot, I think.
yeah, no, because I feel like it's why a lot of people feel so defensive about their culture, or just feel like they need to change. Like, okay, like I kind of want to like touch on this topic of like the entire concept of like whitewashing, and I feel like a lot of us like we like automatically will see someone who like I wouldn't say like someone who has less culture than us because I feel like it's something that I've definitely experienced as a Tamil Christian specifically because there's a lot of my culture that I wasn't able to experience like as like other people would, like for example like, and I feel like it's so easy for someone to be like, oh yeah, no, like you don't do this, like you don't do this cultural activity, you don't like speak the language. And like sometimes it's like really hard, say if you're like a second generation immigrant and you're like not really like raised in that same area, for people to be like, oh well, you're too different or you don't fit in with this culture anymore. And especially because like when I went back to India, like to visit my um like grandparents, like relatives, a lot of people would like laugh at my American accent because I spoke Tamil differently. I spoke Tamil like weird, and it was weird to them just because it was like different. But here in the United States, I feel like a lot of like other like POCs, like a lot of brown people who are also Indian, they've also been like, "Oh yeah, you're so whitewashed. Like, how do you not know what this is?" Like, I think I was having a conversation with a friend about like, and she was like, talking about Bharatanatyam. Like Bharatanatyam, I'm just gonna
Like
go
this traditional Indian dance.
yeah, it's this traditional Indian dance that like originates in like it's like I think it's mostly a Tamil thing. Like correct
I
me if
actually
I'm wrong.
don't know.
But yeah, like it originated in Tamil Nadu. I'm pretty sure it did.
Maybe.
And yeah, so like a few of my friends are Bharatanatyam dancers, so they were talking about it, and like they do these things like little hand signals, like kind of like depict or symbolize like like stories, and like I'm not gonna go too much into it because I don't know that much about, but and it's like kind of like there's a lot about my culture that I still want to understand that I don't really like know that much about. And a lot of the times like I'll be like, "Oh, what is this?" Like or like and I've had people like literally judge me for like not knowing something about my own culture cuz like and it's like I haven't grown up in India. Like a lot of people like like they might be immigrants themselves or like they might just like, been raised in different like contexts. Like I wasn't the type of kid that was like raised in a household where we had like Bollywood movies. I wasn't raised in a household where we were like, where we went to puja or like where we went to like well, puja means temple.
Guys are like praying.
Yeah. Like I was raised differently and I feel like a lot of times like you can like kind of get like not necessarily in the sense like ostracized, but you kind of get judged by people who like experience culture differently.
So it's like there's both sides. There's a side where you have people who aren't of your culture who kind of judge you, and then there's people of your culture who judge you. Like that's an experience that I personally don't face because like I do things like puja and I do things. I've done Bharatanatyam. I'm not good at it, and like I stopped doing it. But that's something that my mom put me in because it's like a cultural thing. So I guess having that perspective as someone who's Indian and also Christian, I think that's very unique and not like that's really like interesting because I think a lot of people don't talk about that, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of people do face. And going back, I think to ideology and religion, like specifically that this person on Reddit did say, I think ideology is something that is super divisive sometimes. Like we all have very different religions. And I think like there's so much conflict that has happened in the past, also based on religion. And so going back to this idea of assimilation, because I feel like again, like I'm just trying to create like a discussion about this.
Yeah.
But like in terms of ideology, like for example, this person said like specifically those people like those who have the audacity to think their own ideology or religion surpasses the laws of the land, and talking about how avoiding like immigrants avoid natives and refuse to integrate. Like it's I feel like it goes back to that idea of religion and how people don't like necessarily
like
agree with
you might
things
not
who are
have
different.
like you might not follow the same thing as someone else.
And maybe that goes back to like the ethnocentrism idea where it's like just because people think things that are different that you
You kind of like look at them a certain way.
yeah. And I also want to try to understand like their perspective, because I guess some people want a melting pot and other people want a salad.
Like a lot of people, they like want unity. Like
They want unity. I think that's another thing, because America is so diverse, specifically like going to like this country, because of how many people come from different backgrounds. Going back to that, there's also this question of how do you create one American identity? Because we're all American, right? But we're also different. So I think perhaps like one perspective that these anti-immigration people have is that, with this like really great amount of diversity, there's a lot of division. And because of that, it may be hard to have one specific, like one American identity. And that might be something that people
American
want.
means so many like different things. There's like so many different people, and it kind of just like you kind of just like stick with what you know. And like okay, like speaking of that, I wanted to like talk about like okay, like how like our perception of like race and like ethnicity kind of just like ties into like who we stick with. Cause like think about it. According to my research, like people do tend to like form friendships or just like relationships in general with like people who are often like the same race or like who have like similar shared values. Cause like even with like the fact that like okay like people do still have like interracial friendships, interracial relationships, a lot of people are more likely to stick with like their communities. Like for example, like Harlem, Little Italy, Little India. Like even with the entire like Desi community, you stick with what you know, and you kind of avoid like what you don't really know or like what you don't really like.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for everybody, but in the sense like okay like yeah like it like race and ethnicity do like cue to like a lot of similarities.
And in our area specifically, I feel like one of the reasons why we have so many Indian people here is just the fact that we have Indian people here. So because of that, more Indian people come here. Just because
like,
there's a sense of like, oh, like a community, where we all can like relate to each other. Like for example, like I know that because I have a lot of friends that are Indian, I can like talk to them about Indian things and they would know what I'm talking about. And I wouldn't feel like uncomfortable to speak about things, relating to my culture. Because these people, like, they know about the culture. They go through it too. And we kind of talk about it in like a normal sense where I don't have to explain what things are. Like, they know what it is. It's not weird. It's something that they do. And I think that could be one reason why we as people tend to stick to people like us.
Yeah, no.
Like, going back to that question of why, like, people tend to stick. Like, we're like pods. Yeah, like peas in a pod.
Yeah, because like sometimes it can be uncomfortable, like learning about new things. Like, and I feel like that's like why so many people are just like really like hesitant in a way to like be like, oh well, I don't want to disrespect someone's culture, or oh I don't want to like go there because I don't know what that is. Like that's too weird for me. Like, and I feel like even like I feel like a lot of people they like look for similarities like actively. Like I remember like my mom like there's this thing that like happens like every time we like go outside of our community or like our town, like was like my mom like go to the grocery store. Well, like we'll go to the grocery store and she'll like randomly like this thing has happened. Like she randomly asks and she's like, "Oh, are you Tamil? Are you Indian?" And like they either say yes or no. Like I think my mom and I like we met this person on a cruise who was also Tamil, who like grew up next to the same place like as my parents, which was really cool. Like from the same like I think like from a neighboring town as my parents, and that was really cool. But yeah, it's like, and I feel like people just like actively search for community because like we're so scared to like, be alone or like so scared to like not have anyone to relate to. And the entire like concept of just like becoming whitewashed. And I feel like that's like when you like don't really like you kind of just like, like you become more like the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the reasons why it's so important that we do have diversity, that we do interact with people that aren't like us.
Yeah, because like new perspectives.
We want to gain perspectives. We want to understand why we all work the way we do, why we all think the way that we do. And I think by cutting people off, like regardless of whether you're in a country accepting immigrants or if you are the immigrant, I feel like it's really hard to find this balance where you want to integrate a little bit. Like you don't want to fully integrate,
learn
but
more about the world.
you want to learn more. And that comes from both sides. Like I feel like if you're immigrating to a country, in my opinion, you should be able to adapt to certain things. Like you can't, I feel like if you're going to move into a country,
like you're
you
gonna
should
have
follow
to like
the law. I feel like that's really important.
Like, guys, stay safe out there. Stay non-criminal. Stay out of jail.
like follow the law. I feel like there's certain things where, you know, you should be able to kind of integrate at least a little bit, because if you're going to move into a country, you should be able to,
like, especially with like differences in customs. Like, I remember I went to India and I think I said bless you to my uncle, and he was like, what? And I was like, bless you, because he was like sneezing, and he was like, wait, what do you mean? Another thing that happened, like, okay, like I was complimenting my aunt's cooking, and I was like, this tastes like it was made in a restaurant. Everybody looks at me funny because like they were like, oh, well, typically like the better compliment to like receive apparently is like when you go into a restaurant, you would like the compliment would be like, oh, this tastes like someone made it at home. Like that would be like a better compliment apparently, because like most people would just say, oh, this tastes like my mom's cooking.
so there's like differences, I guess.
Yeah. And like I feel like you kind of just have to adjust in the sense like you might have to like adjust to the customs. But, like I don't think like anyone should have to change who they are.
That's the other thing. Like there's another side to that. You shouldn't just integrate. I'm not saying like you shouldn't, but it shouldn't just be about integrating. You should be able to
about like adapting. It shouldn't have to be just about like
you should be able to have
getting
your own
used
culture.
to things. Like I feel like the most important part is just like getting used to things, because like sometimes like you might not know like how stuff is done in a different country, and like it's important to like respect all people's like values and belief systems, while like not forgetting your own.
It comes from like both sides. Like being able to integrate while also maintaining your own
Identity.
culture, your own identity, and like really forming that salad bowl. Because I think when you think of a salad, you think of different things that complement each other. When you make a salad, you put in the lettuce, you put in the right sauce, you maybe put in some croutons in there, you put in like a bunch of different things that really make a nice blend together. And I think like working with each other and like integrating at the right amount, but also just like maintaining your own identity, I think that's really important for society. And it comes from both sides. People should be willing to accept new diversity and new cultures. And then on the other side, I think immigrant people should be able to also integrate a little bit, while also maintaining their identity, because that's really important. And I feel like that just like helps facilitate this like society where we have our own identity, but at the same time we have a diverse identity, you know?
Yeah.
Like we have so many different people, but we still have that like unity because we all have like shared things. And so going back to these people on Reddit that are pretty anti-immigrant, I feel like a lot of what they're talking about is the fact that they think that these immigrants don't assimilate enough. I mean, like, again, like, I'm not fully in agreement with them. I do see what they're saying. Like
we're trying to see it from their point of view.
Yeah.
And, like, not be disrespectful, because, like, everyone has their own opinions. But, like, I feel like it's because, like, people only say that because, like, they're not really thinking about other people. They're not really trying to see it from a different point of view. They're just, like, so rooted in the fact, like, oh, I'm scared. Like
you can't be
you're scared
that rude.
of change. In a sense. Yeah. And there's another one, too. Okay, wait, so, 2 other ones. Like, it says, from Denmark. Denmark is doing great in my point of view. I've only been here only for a while, but as long as I'm concerned, immigrants don't cause big troubles. Of course, from time to time, you have everything controlled. Visit UK, Spain, or France. Destroyed societies. Again, what do you mean by that? Like, because this entire, like, concept, like, that immigrants destroy society. And literally, okay, like, this other thing. Okay, not true, but like all these other posts. Not true, but it just goes to show how abysmal. What's spelled abysmal? 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 I have no idea.
Wait, because it's like M-A-I-L.
I have no clue what
I think they spelled that wrong.
In Germany, England, Spain, and France. Oh, it's Italy too. If they are destroyed now in 2025, imagine how it'll be. They forgot to add an apostrophe
in 2030.
In 2035, with less people to pay the bill, and the bill much higher. What? What do they mean by this? It's so like.
Wait, I think they mean that like immigrants don't pay their bills.
I don't know what they mean. I think it's just the grammar. I'm not even trying to roast this
understand
person.
What they're saying.
It's like the grammar of it all.
It's like Reddit grammar.
Yikes. Okay. Already now there is escape from EU countries. I think European countries like Germany and Italy to the north of Europe. Politicians have failed big time. And like I feel like yeah, but like this entire idea, like I think that what they're trying to say is that like, oh yeah, immigrants don't really like
participate, like
contribute enough, like in terms of
they
like
pay taxes. Like,
well, I mean, we do pay taxes.
We pay taxes.
Yeah,
we contribute.
Like, immigrants do pay taxes, and like they're actually like they support economies. They like improve society.
And we're gonna talk about some like a bunch of people that have really contributed. I mean, like in terms of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm trying to see it from their perspective as well. They said, like, in the comment with Denmark, it says that of course, from time to time, but you have everything controlled. So I just want to know what they mean by control. Do they mean like regulating immigration? Like are they controlling immigrants?
Do they not? Do they like? Because I feel like it's entire weird, like the entire concept of just like picking and choosing. Like, oh yes, we want this, but we know we don't want this. Like, and I feel like a lot of people can be like that, and especially when it comes to terms in like, okay, like what's society acceptable and like what's not. Because I feel like a few years ago, a lot of people, it's like, okay, for example, like Asian cuisine. I know, like, okay, this is like a concept a lot because I feel like a lot of like people who like are Asian. I can't like generalize this. Like this is just like a generalization, and I can't really speak too much about this because like I can't really speak much about East Asian culture. But a lot of like
Asian
people, like especially in media, they'd be like, "Oh, Indians are smelly," or "Asians are good at math." They'd be like,
it goes back to like racism as well.
Yeah, just like racism, but in the sense like, okay, like people would be like, "Oh yeah, I know, like these foods are weird." Like people like look at like foods from other cultures and be like, "Oh, these foods are weird," kind of like relating to what I said, but like in the sense that like, okay, now a lot of people like eat like foods from other countries. For example, like a lot of the foods that are popular in America are actually from other countries. For example, fried chicken was invented by Serbian immigrants in America. Pizza from Italy, hamburgers were from Germany, which is also like insane to me because like a lot of people they love immigrant contributions, and like I know that like opinions change. Like a lot of people just love immigrant contributions, but they don't really love immigrants themselves, and like they think
like going back to that question, like why are some foods integrated while others are not? Like you have like that's a really important point, and I feel like one reason why people kind of accept these foods is they've been integrated into society in some way. Like I've taken like some notes of some examples, but like for example, I think you have tacos as one of the things. We have like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
When people think of tacos, I think a lot of people in this country, I don't know if they get authentic tacos. Like, do they
but
probably
it's
get
something
Taco
like
Bell?
It's like more like you know, like it's like what I mean, like not necessarily watered down, but in a sense like kind of like
American
changed
down.
Yeah.
Like for example, with Americanized foods, we were talking about Chinese food for a little bit. Like when I hear people say, "Oh, I love Chinese food," I feel like they're referring to like General Tso chicken or orange chicken. I don't know if I pronounced the General
like when I say whitewashed, in the sense like okay, it's more like accustomed to like American taste.
Yeah,
like whitewashed in the sense like your like authentic flavors are like being kind of like dulled down. It's like a more like collective like American taste palette, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like in the sense like okay, like for example like Taco Bell. It's definitely not something that's like authentic. And like we all still love Taco Bell, but in the sense of the fact that like it's kind of like okay.
Is it really Mexican food?
Yes. Like it's something that like the idea for tacos originated in Mexico. But the entire like Taco Bell franchise, like it's insane that we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Like the Taco Bell franchise, it's kind of like just like these more like subdued flavors.
I had Taco Bell yesterday. Oh, sorry, that was really random.
We love Taco Bell. But like it's like kind of like these subdued flavors. Like that kind of like, match everyone's taste buds, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of like relates to like the entire concept of being like not really okay, like I feel like this is a stretch, but the entire like concept of like whitewash, like just like I feel like when people say whitewashed, they don't mean like, oh, you act like a white person. Or like because like there's no one certain way to act white, there's no one certain way to like act Indian, like or like there's no one certain way to act like any race. Like unless that's like what you actually act like as a person of that race. But I feel like it's more like in the sense like okay, like you're removing like part of that original like identity, like basically the taco.
You're like shaving it down to a more like a taste that like the American public like in general like a wide variety, not variety, a wide
like
range
for example like so many cultures that like immigrants bring over, like they're kind of like more like you kind of have to like adapt like or subdue. It's like kind of like those things are subdue.
I think about butter chicken because
wait, like I don't think I get it.
No, because like it's like an Indian food,
Mhm.
but I feel like I don't know if this like relates necessarily, but there are many Indian restaurants that serve butter chicken.
Mhm.
It's just a lot of times I've noticed that they add a lot of cream and stuff to it. When I went to India and I got butter chicken, I went to Hyderabad last summer and I got butter chicken over there. It was so different. It was just like it was spicier. It had a lot more spice to it. It was less creamy. It didn't have as much like milk in it. But when I get butter chicken here, like the butter chicken I have here is one that like
it's just
it's different. It's less spicy.
Jinx.
I know. Well, like she was talking about, it's kind of just like not necessarily a white person thing, like where it's like towards
like we're making it less spicy for like a certain demographic. No, it's
it's just
like you're changing it so like more people
to more
like it fits in. Yeah, it fits into like what people want or what people expect.
Yeah. And like I think that answers the question almost of why some foods are integrated, because I feel like we've integrated them. We've created versions that a wide variety of people can consume. Like I can have butter chicken, you can have butter chicken, and we're not going to complain about
have butter chicken.
Yeah, we're not going to complain about the spice or this or that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one reason. And you talked about burgers as well, being I think you said from Germany.
Yeah, from Germany.
Like fast food.
Fast food, guys.
It may not be the original German burger, but it's a version of it.
I think it's actually from Hamburg. That's why they call it hamburger.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Wait. What do they call people from Hamburg, though? Like people from Hamburg.
Hamburgen?
I don't know. Hamburger.
I don't want to like say anything.
Let's just not like.
But yeah, like we have fast food. Like you go, you get McDonald's, you say I want a burger. Like that's an example of just how we've integrated that. We've created these chains of foods that a wide variety of people in this country can consume, and I think that's how it kind of like integrates into there. Yeah. So KFC, you have fried chicken. Like again, I don't know the story exactly of how fried chicken became like a staple food here, but I feel like KFC is an example of like, for example, at least for me as well.
Okay, like Popeyes.
How I've been exposed to fried chicken. Popeyes too. Like
I love
how
Popeyes,
I've been exposed to fried chicken.
Popeyes, sponsor us, please.
Yay, love Popeyes.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's really important. And maybe that goes back a bit to assimilation in a way, because when you have these groups of ethnic people that immigrate to this country, I feel like one way to almost preserve their culture a bit is to create food. I feel like food is such a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And in a way to also integrate, but also maintain your like cultural identity. I feel like creating these Americanized versions of food.
It's like a way of like introducing like, you know, like
your culture,
a society to like, your culture, like kind of like introducing your culture. Like, okay, like for example, if anyone's gone to Starbucks and like had a chai latte.
Oh, but it is not chai.
It is not chai.
It's not chai.
But it's like the fact that I don't even know.
I have a mixed opinion about that.
Okay, like because
I feel like some people just assume that's what chai is, or they don't even know that it's from Indian origin.
It's definitely not like the same thing as like chai, like because you would not say chai tea.
Yeah, and like not just that, I feel like it's not chai at all. It's, I mean, for one, it's cold. Generally, chai is drinking hot.
Yeah,
it's not spiced. How would you say that?
It's drinking. Oh wait, it's like drank hot.
I don't know, guys. Okay, you can correct me. I don't know. But like, it doesn't have spice to it. There's like not much flavor to it. And I'm being a little hypercritical because I love chai.
We both love chai. Actually, no.
We were having.
Do you see these empty glasses? Yes.
My glass is on the table. I'm basically
empty. Like
chai is really good, but I think like one thing that kind of
it's this thing that's been like popularized, changed, like, added on.
And I just feel like some people maybe don't give enough credit to like where that idea came from. Another thing I think about in terms of Indian culture being like introduced is yoga.
Oh my
gosh, is Indian, guys.
Because like we have hot girl yoga. Okay, wait, this entire thing with like because the fact is like we have hot girl yoga. We have like these Scandinavian scarves. Okay, wait, I'm not even gonna think about like because I think like someone called Jhumkas, like vintage earrings. Oh my god,
brand that had
was it Ralph? I don't know if it was Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger.
I think it was
one of them.
Lauren. I'm not sure for sure.
I don't remember which one it was, but like it's the fact that like these things are like popularized, but like we don't give credit where credit is due. Like even with the entire like clean girl slick back aesthetic, like okay,
oiling your hair.
Yeah, no, like when I was in elementary school, I just used to like go to school with like oil my hair, like I don't like my hair like slick back into like a braid or ponytail or something. And now like okay, like back in the days, like that would be considered like greasy, like dirty, disgusting. But like now it's like this like thing that's trending. Like it's
Yeah.
cute, it's trendy. Like now it's like fully been like integrated and like spread around.
I feel like that's like one perspective of integration. Like how do you integrate in a way where you're not taking away from that group where that like thing came from, like from that culture, because you have to be able to give recognition to that culture. You can't like integrate it so much to the point where you lose focus of where it came
Not even
from.
just like integrated, because like okay, like everyone can drink chai, like
Yeah, of course.
and it's not just about chai. She's like anything like
You
in
can
general,
drink
like,
a chai tea latte too.
like,
Like that's not a problem either.
Don't call it chai. Okay.
No, but like
Just like a
that's the
chai tea
thing.
latte sounds a problem.
It sounds wrong, but it's a thing, and people drink it. Like I'm not gonna
like
stop
if you drink
from
that,
drinking
like
it.
no, yeah, it's like delicious.
Maybe
bro.
you think it tastes good. That's fine.
Yeah, but in the sense like it's not just about like chai in general. Like this is about like ideas, concepts, like foods, like whatever like it is you do, like yoga, like you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But in the sense like okay, like I feel like a lot of what happens is like the fact that like it changes so like it changes as like it passes down from person to person, because like everyone does it differently. Everyone has their own tastes and preferences. So I think that's just like where it changes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it's this thing where it's like and like the more people change it, and the more people you know get to experience like parts of like other cultures, the more they kind of like claim it as their own. Which is like where the thing with like appropriation happens. And the point is like you're not appropriating if you do yoga. You're not appropriating if you like drinking a chai tea latte. But like in the sense like appropriation happens when you're like not really giving credit to like a certain culture or subgroup. Because like even like I've had like I'm not gonna go too much into this issue, but with the entire issue of like people wearing box braids, or people just like who don't really need them.
I'm pretty sure it damages your hair if you don't have a specific hair.
Yeah, no, because like
can damage your hair.
A lot of people, especially like black people, like if you have that hair type, like you kind of just need a protected hairstyle. And like yeah, and like that's I understand like how that could be like super important to your culture. And like when people don't really give credit for that or like recognize that, that can be like really, really frustrating. And just yeah.
Like that like company thing about the jumkas, there was you could have just called them jumkas. Like at least that would have been a way to spread Indian culture. Like in a way where you recognize the fact that it's Indian, but you're also kind of like spreading that culture so everyone can kind of experience
you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah, like if you like jumkas and think they're pretty, go ahead and wear them, but just call them jumkas. Maybe just like address that they're Indian.
Yeah, like also like guys, we do not have to say Scandinavian scarf.
No, like that's another example. They're not Scandinavian scarves. Just don't call them that. Yeah, but call them their real name.
Yeah, like and the point is like it's not like you don't have to like, you know, use them, but like use them or don't use them. But like in the sense like okay, like give credit where credit is due. Like and like okay, like as in like in the sense like respect that. Respect other people, respect their like ideas or cultures. And like just it's not that hard.
So like going back to the idea of like perspectives, right? I mean we've addressed like our perspectives for sure. We've looked at some Reddit people and their anti-immigrant perspectives. And so I feel like if we were to take away a bit from this idea of perspective, I feel like the idea of assimilation, and there's so many different aspects to it. It's really multifaceted. Like there isn't one way to do it. And I feel like that's what makes it so hard to like find a balance between assimilation and maintaining cultural diversity. I feel like it's really hard to create that balanced salad where we're all complementing each other and we all, you know, have that sense of unity, but also cultural diversity. Because, I mean, there's cultural appropriation, like we were just talking about, but there's also issues where people may think that, you know, like, people aren't like integrating enough, that we don't have a united identity. And then there's another perspective where people feel like they're not accepted into society. And it's just like, there's different aspects of assimilation.
Like, a lot of like just sides of it. Like
so it's really hard to like really create like a really specific direct like
it's hard to capture all of it
and really say this is how you do it or this is how we think you should do it. But yeah, I feel like it's important to just like discuss these things and kind of formulate an opinion about it, you know?
Yeah.
So
what we're trying to do in this episode is kind of just combat like all of the like negative like opinions. Well, and like even if we don't change a lot of people's minds, it's okay. Because like what we're trying to like say is like kind of just like show people different sides of the world that they haven't really seen before. Or just like share our own personal experiences. on these topics in general. And with like immigrant culture, just like the concept of like immigration in general, like a lot of people are like, maybe people are just like negative about it because they haven't like seen it from a different point of view, or like maybe they're just like uncomfortable with like, you know, learning about different perspectives, or just like, you know, like being unfamiliar with things. So what we seek to do in this video was just like educate people on the fact that like, yes, immigrants do contribute to society, just like talking about like assimilation, just like what like immigrant people go through. So we wanted to like share a different perspective with you guys. So yeah.
And really just like understand perspectives in general,
Mhm.
the way that we work as a society. I think
Yeah.
we always want to bring it back to the whole. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about immigrant culture specifically in this episode, but it really ties back to society as a whole.
Mhm.
Why we work together, why do we, come together in certain groups? Why do we
Mhm.
hang out with certain people? Really answering these very broad questions that a lot of you guys may be wondering.
So yeah.
And maybe you have your own
Mhm.
perspectives and things that you want to share with us. So please definitely be open to share what you believe and what you think,
Yeah.
your opinions on this podcast, like things that you think of when you think about immigrant culture, because we really want to create like a space for people to be open with what they think and what they believe.
Definitely.
We're sharing our perspectives and our
Yeah.
opinions. We want to hear yours as well.
Yeah.
So definitely interact with us.
Down in the comments, please.
Yes. Tell us all about
Yes.
your ideas, what you think. We'd love to hear.
Yes. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support, guys.
We sound like YouTubers.
Yes. We are YouTubers now.
We are YouTubers.
We are YouTubers now. This is
so
great
cool.
for us.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, thanks for listening.
Thanks.
And feel free to tune in next week.
When is our next episode?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Anyways,
We'll let you guys know.
Peace out. We love you.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.